right now you're here in my restaurant, Chick-Fil-A, the only Chick-Fil-A in Brooklyn. We opened last year, September of 2019, so we just celebrated our first year anniversary a couple of weeks ago. So I'm originally from Atlanta, birthplace of Chick-Fil-A. Ironic part about it, knew nothing about Chick-fil-A. I got an opportunity to meet who I now call my mentor, a brother, ironically from Atlanta, and so now he's a very successful operator in DC and or in the DC, Maryland area, and he was like, yo, there's opportunity out in Chicago, it's a brand new market, like you really should think about Chick-fil-A a little bit more. And so got selected for that training team. Because I'm from Atlanta, I have that natural affinity for like big cities, So ended up going to Chicago, spent about 2 years in Chicago, completely gave up on law school. And let's backtrack. I didn't give up on law school. I put a pause on law school. And I turned down a free master's in accounting to pursue like this newfound love with Chick-fil-A. Didn't know what I was chasing, but I was chasing a gut feeling. I was chasing a passion. I know that is extremely hard, and I know that it's extremely difficult in the times that we're living in right now. I would always say, ask yourself this: if you give up, who are you closing the doors on? It's not yourself. So when I think about those times when I want to give up, or if I want to close down the doors, I don't know the little Brandons or the Brandees, the men and women out there that may be looking at me and they're counting on me to say, hey, no, I need you to stay in the fight. So ask yourself that first, because again, I'm serving, and that's the essence of leadership. And so every decision that I make and everything that I try to run a filter through, I always look at it through the lenses of who is that going to have an impact on?
This Amboy Street Garden was founded in the late 70s. It was a hub of the Black community here in Brownsville. Over the last 10 years, it was operated by a nonprofit called Project Eats. Unfortunately, Project Eats was it's currently a white nonprofit that, you know, on paper does some good things in the community, but unfortunately in our community, it was taking advantage of being here. Just in the last year, the community has had an opportunity to grab hold of the garden again. And myself and one of my fraternity brothers, we are spearheading renovating this garden, rehabbing it, and turning it over back to the Brownsville community. Just in the last 5 months, we have totally revamped this garden. The weeds from this wall to the gate here were over 6 feet tall. And we've just now got it to what you see here today. Alexander Quito is one of the top muralists in the world right now, Brazilian brother from Sao Paulo. He is actually working on a project for the city of New York. He's in Times Square as we speak, and he has accepted to create a mural right here on this wall. He's gonna do the whole wall. I want to teach our youth how to farm, how to raise crops, how to feed themselves. And one of the big things about New York is we're limited on space, right? So obviously, you know, the right weather permitting, you can utilize this space to do a lot of things. So that's why this being a hub right here is really going to be beneficial to just the community. Appreciate y'all showing up and spotlighting the garden. Much love. Appreciate you, appreciate you.
All right, everybody, so we are here inside of the Gentleman's Factory in Brooklyn, NYC, and I got a special guest with me here. He is a man of God, but also a man of many other talents. I'm gonna let him introduce who he is, and we're gonna go from there. So how about you tell the audience about who you are, bro?
Yeah, Brandon Watts, lead pastor, privileged to be the lead pastor of a church here in Brooklyn called Epiphany Church. Most people call it Epiphany Church Brooklyn. Been pastoring now for 6 years, and it's been a great journey, man. Let me, at the onset, say that I'm really honored to sit down with you today. Man, I really love what Rebuild Black is doing, man. Seeing Black people win, telling the stories, and the way you're doing it in such a clean and clear way. Man, we appreciate you, man, and honor you today.
Man, I just appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule, because I will say I've heard nothing but good things about you, Pastor B, because everybody asks me, how did you get a meeting with Pastor B? He is the most I'm not joking.
Right.
They said that you are the most connected man in all of Brooklyn.
Wow.
So I am honored to be sitting here by you right now, bro.
Oh, man, it means a lot, man. I can probably name a few others that are more connected, but I appreciate it, man.
Always, man. So starting a church in Brooklyn, and a Black-owned church. Of course, Brooklyn is mostly known as a Black epicenter.
Yeah.
But a lot of people do not think of a church as also being a business at the end of the day.
Oh, yeah.
But everything that you talked about was honestly what I would have to do if I were to start my own a profitable business here.
Right.
Because as a church, you're a non-profit organization first, but you still got to go out there. You still got to hustle. You still got to grind. You still got to give out water bottles with your branding on it. You know, so hats off to you, man, because I don't think a lot of people understand that even though you are a non-profit, you still got bills you got to pay at the end of the day. You know, so what has that process been like during COVID in terms of you being able to sustain the business model of the church, and how has the church been able to pivot?
Yeah, no, it's a great question. I think, man, kind of going back to your statement into the question, a lot of starting a church is transferable to anything that an entrepreneur would do. You would know this well. In terms of like, somebody has to pay the bills, somebody has to manage the budget, like somebody has to hire staff if you have staff. And so I think a lot of times people think that you start a church by just setting up a pulpit and preaching, but man, that preaching is 25% of what I do. And the other 75 is between counseling, managing the budget, running a staff. We have a staff of 5, we have a staff of 5 people. So I have to manage 5 different personnel. I have to manage that. You know what I'm saying? And so it is a lot of it is transferable to starting a business.
So what's been the most impactful story that you had while you were doing the church so far?
Yeah, you know, there's so many, man. I think, man, there's a lot. I'm trying to pause and trying to grab which one do I want to actually bring out. I think overall, more than one specific story, it's the seeing young people that are, I mean, literally indigenous to Brooklyn or transplants to Brooklyn that you typically wouldn't see in church, seeing those people actually in church worshiping Jesus. That has been I think the greatest story. Our church is 92% in our 20s. I'm not in my 20s, but 92% of our church is in their 20s. Oh
man, thanks a lot for coming on out. Of course, shout out to these 2 brands right here.
Yes.
Black owned. So
Black owned.
I'm gonna have you try some of this off camera too.
Some communion.
There you go, communion. There we go.